Good morning, responsible day traders. Today is Monday, July 19th, 2021. I am Lindsay Duff. I'm half asleep today, and this is Responsible Day Trading. It has been a little interesting overnight. In the last few days, we've finally been making a bit of a drop, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we anticipate. So let's go ahead and check out the news, and then we'll move on to the market. This week in news, we got a pretty light load. There's some pre-market tomorrow and Thursday. And then we have a little bit on Wednesday and a little bit on Thursday that will happen while the market's open, but nothing to be too concerned with, honestly. Not giant market movers. They may spike it for a quick moment or two, but you can see I only look at these high impact, so the high volatility. If you wanted to look at something a little bit different, you could just hit this filter button. If you wanted to see the medium impact news or even the low impact, which is really not anything we need to look at. So we're just going to pay attention to what these high impact news are. Remember, some of it's happening pre-market, some of it's happening right after it opens. So if that is something that you feel is part of your trading plan, or if you choose to stay out during news, or if you choose to trade news, then you want to pay attention to this. Let's go ahead and check out this daily chart. We're going to look at this one highlighted right in the middle. We're going to kind of ignore these on the side for right now. We can come back to those a little bit later. So what we're looking at here is obviously the last few months. I circled this one in red in particular, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. So I said once it started breaking that bottom Bollinger Band and really pay attention to the short trades, we finally had some divergence. So this price has reached higher, the MACDs are leading lower, and it's pushed this down. We haven't really breached that zero line in quite some time, and we may or may not do it now. The first area that we would be anticipating the bounce is right here as we're really approaching it right now. Let's grab this and pull it down just a little bit so we can see what's going on right here. Now, we have this first area. We talked about this last time, about that area that took us a while to break, and we might see a pull back into it. We have the EMA, that top EMA has really come up and equaled that area, making it a little bit stronger of an area for a bounce. So we had a little bit of a high right in here, which is right where we're reaching right now. But if we really think we're going to hit a high impact area, it might pull back a little bit deeper towards the EMAs like we have seen right in here. We can see it just pulls back and touches it and goes. Now, if this thing gets a lot of oomph behind it, the next area is way down here. We can see sometimes that next area is where it leads to, especially whenever the EMAs are weaker. So these are pretty strong EMAs right now. And what I mean by strong EMAs is they're wide and spread apart. When they're pulled together a little bit closer like this, it's easier to violate that top one to get to the second one. But here we have quite a bit of strength. We've had quite a bit of strength going on since, well, you can see November last year is when we started getting back above the EMA and not really breaking back below to get to the next one. We're going to have to watch what's going to happen here. Right now, we've got a pretty strong move to the downside, but we see sometimes when we're pulling into that EMA area, that strong move can stop on a dime or on an EMA, as we would say. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next size chart, the 28,657. And I'll talk to you a little bit about why I highlighted this area in particular in red. So you can see right now we've got a strong move to the downside. We've also got some serious white BBs. Now, we're about to reach our lowest area in the MACDs that we've seen in a while. I went back here and looked. So here is our last major lows that happened in the MACDs on the 28,657, which says we're starting to really reach that last major low. BBs are getting really white. Now, can it continue? It can do whatever it wants to do. It's the markets world. We're just here to listen to it, right? So what happens here, and why I've got this one circled, is this was our last major low. If we get back below that last major low, if the price gets back below here, we're probably going to see shorts for a while. We're probably going to see some major movement to the downside, but we haven't gotten back below there yet. And we're seeing a little bit of a reason for a slowdown soon. White BBs as we're reaching a higher impact area in the MACDs. So yes, we've gotten past this little pivot right here, but that last major low is right in here. That's our low. I think we're all right. I mean, we've got a lot of distance to go to get down here. I mean, that's quite a few points to get back down here and to exceed that low. Can it do it? The market's going to do whatever it wants to do. So let's go ahead and take a look at my trading chart, which is my 1597. Now, as I'm open this initially, and you can see I've got a little bit larger charts here and here. BBs are getting white. They've just come off of the white BBs on my trading chart, which is the 1597. And they're lighter here, but we can see they were light here, 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 and here. They haven't exactly turned white. Does that mean that it can turn around? Yeah, it can. What do we see that tells us this may give a nice push to the upside? Quite a few things, actually. We've got reversal bars happening with a lot of distance to the EMAs, which provides for us an area for a snapback. We've got reversal bars with the white BBs, but we don't have any divergence, okay? So what we may see happen, if this is going to be the umph that pushes this up, what we may see happen is this come back down just a little bit more and create divergences for us, because divergence is really going to be something that tells us, hey, we're going to get a nice snap back to the upside and possibly even change the direction back up. But right now, that overall is down. We're reaching an area that says we may see more up. White BBs here. We do have some divergence on our smallest chart, but that chart is only for entries. We don't use that for direction at all. We have the white BBs snapping up here, a little bit of distance back to the EMAs. We may see it reach these EMAs, turn around and come back down. Now, if we're looking at these bigger charts, nice reversal bars, slowing down, wider BBs, but as I said, still no divergence. And without that divergence there, it tends to tell me that we're going to see a little bit more, excuse the wild hair, we're going to see a little bit more movement to the downside. So I think we're going to see this push down just a little bit more and then possibly give us a nice pop back up to the upside. So let's see if it makes it down to that area of the EMAs and that area that just held for so long and then boom, pops us back to the upside. If it breaks back through that area and it pushes down, then we're going to want to start really keeping our mindset on, this may get us back below that previous low that held earlier at the EMA on the daily chart. Or, guys, we have to be prepared for anything. We have to be prepared for this may just smoke to the upside. As I've said before, we can't make decisions on what we want it to do. We have to make decisions on what it's telling us. And so many times in trading, people make decisions on what they want it to do, get their booties handed to them, and they go, well, what's wrong? Because they don't realize that they're not paying attention to what the market is telling them. I cannot stress that enough. This market is run by millions of people. And so together those millions of people make the decision. There's no one of us that's going to move the market. So whenever we press that button, we're not moving the market, especially in the way that we trade here or the way we trade at Responsible Day Trading. We're not moving the market. We're just along for the ride. We're understanding what we're looking for: low risk, high reward. And we're looking to take trades in that direction. And sometimes that's a quick trade, and sometimes we have a long distance trade. It really just depends on what the market hands to us at that time. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap that up. As I've said before, I'm trying to get into a new house. I've done a lot of packing and I've got a lot more to do. So I'm going to see if I have some time this week to actually record some trading and get it out for you guys. I can't promise, but I'm going to try. So I hope that everybody has the most wonderful of weeks. And as always, you know that I look forward to catching you on the profitable side.